Okay, hello, hello, hello. This is gonna be a pick a sketch, pick a message video, and I'm gonna show you the two decks. So the top of the decks are these mindfulness cards I got like 5+ years ago from my sister on my birthday. Shout out to her, love you. They're mindfulness cards, and you pretty much pull one. They're like meant for you to pull like one every day to start your day to be more mindful, but I like to shuffle them and use the divine synchronicities to figure things out. I'm just like scrubbing through this video. I don't know what made me pick this one out of all their videos. Something with energy, because it's nighttime. Anyway, so the first deck says thank you, thank me, and the other card says let it go. So just choose whatever message seems more like you need to hear it at this time, and also trust your discernment if you feel like you don't need to watch this video and there's none of these are your message. But try not to read too deep into the title of the card. They're just short little titles, and then on the back there's some way to be more mindful, but we'll get into that after I do the sketch. So this is going to be pile 1, this is going to be pile 2, and I'll put the timestamps below. So yeah, let's get into pile 1. I'll put this over here. Okay, pile 1. I feel like you guys have recently had a change of heart. Things have recently changed directions for you guys. I don't know why I just got that. I was also looking at how the debris was going one way, and then I just saw it and start going the other way. Where's my pen? Okay, let's get into it. Okay. Yeah, I feel like you've recently had a change of heart, and it maybe not, it's different. It's not like it's out of nowhere or completely unexpected, at least within you and your many selves within you, of you questioning, like, where did this come from? Like, on the surface, you're kind of surprised, but honestly, you're not really surprised by it. You've already kind of had this perspective of this experience before. Very thankful for this experience. And it's funny because I have a feeling that even though you're very thankful for this experience, you were looking to experience something else. And two things can be true at once, you know what I mean? And it's almost like there was a hurdle of some sort. And I don't know if you're thankful for the hurdles. I don't know if a recent hurdle has made you want to change directions. It could be both of those things. But this kind of came out of nowhere. And the thing, if this is like one of your first videos of mine that you're watching in this format, I don't be trying to draw anything real. I don't know how to draw real things for real. Like, I know how to draw flowers and random things, but I like to just draw abstract things, and that's kind of how these videos were inspired. I thought it would be cool to kind of use it in a way to be a vessel of empowering messages for people, because it makes me think of, and I always forget what these are called, and this is really bad that I forget what these are called because I'm in school to be a therapist, but it's the it's the type of images that you can probably see in like a stereotypical show of a therapist, and they show different like pictures and patterns, and depending on what you see in it could possibly correlate to your state of mind type of thing. I'll probably put it here like this is what it's called type of thing. I really hope it records this. Anyway, I feel like you guys have been listening to your higher self or listening to God, getting that quiet time to really peep the scene, to really figure out what's going on within you, because there has been some type of hurdle or hurtles or a theme of certain suffering. And I don't mean to laugh about it, but I honestly feel like this group wouldn't be offended by it. I feel like that's kind of how you are looking at certain situations in your life where you're like, wow, you know, because you have this way of just being thankful for the lessons, being thankful for what it was that you didn't know that you now know through this experience, or current circumstance that you may find yourself in. I'm very curious to see what these cards say, so let's get into it. And I hear something with the whale song right now. Ooh. It's almost like you're like, like you got a little clue. Okay. Of course, the camera did something funny, but that's okay. I really want to finish this reading. So I think the last thing I was saying was you're getting a clue about something, and then I continued on with the cards, but it wasn't recording. So even though I already seen them, I'm just gonna go over them. I don't even think I got to read this yet. Says we can be really hard on ourselves to balance feelings of self-criticism and unworthiness. It is really important to remember that fundamentally we are actually on our own side. A good way to do this is to develop gratitude for yourself, recognizing that so much of what you do for your own good, even if it doesn't always work out in the way you expected. Take a few minutes today to close your eyes and thank yourself because you're doing the best you can. So it's like you got a clue about something, and it's almost like that clue came with like a sting of some sort of realizing a cycle that you've been in. And I think this new clue with that whale song doing the heightened like ooh at the end is almost like that clue has freed you from the cycle, but you're just like, you rightfully so, I'm hearing. You don't really like everything that came with the freeing of that cycle, and it's like, why did I have to do that? Go do that. But you're not really on the bitter side of it. Like I said, the thank me card being your card of this pile, I feel like you're very gracious and very thankful for it, while not trying to distance yourself from the pain that you may have felt throughout this experience and throughout this learning curve. It's like you're approaching a border, but these are like steps. So you're approaching a new precipice of life, and you gotta take it one step at a time. Okay, and so let's get into what your other card said. It said breaking the habit. So this is kind of like talking about not being so hard on yourself. So maybe you have finally, and this is giving me full moon energy, and even though this is a timeless reading, full moons symbolize the closing of cycles, completion. So being thankful that you got this far, and that breaking a habit isn't easy, and it takes a lot of sometimes revisiting things, but with a new perspective to get to the bottom of it. And so the cards you got were Dream Sanctuary, Attend to the Simple Things, and where you are is where it's at. Stay still until you're divinely moved. So, and there's that circle, and I kind of did a little spiral thing. It's kind of cool. Stay tuned until you're divinely moved. Don't feel the need to make concrete, time-bound decisions. Trust that you have your own way of doing things. I feel like you guys are getting ready to go through like an energetic costume change. This figure has like garments in their hand, and they already have a pretty cool outfit on. And somehow I don't think they're going to drastically change the outfit, but they're about to add something onto it. So I feel like this group is ending a cycle of just an old version of who they were. And I think the biggest thing is not labeling the old version as better or worse, and getting out of those labels of better or worse. And just honestly, true alchemy at the end of the day. Yeah. Sorry that the camera, I gotta work on my storage for these videos. Yeah, this group could be reminiscing on the many different journeys they have just embarked on. And I finally feel like, I'm speaking as you guys would probably be, I finally feel like I'm free of this way of thinking about something, of myself and of the world around me. And it's almost like you're taking off the weight of other people's perceptions, and or you're taking on a new layer of your own persona that is more detached from people's perceptions. Because maybe you never really felt weighed by people's perceptions, but you found yourself operating in a way that was like kinder to people's perceptions. I don't know. And it's really only people that you care about. But you're breaking that habit of being so critical on yourself for not always being perfectly in line with, I don't know, like making people feel good. And it's just because you care. You're a caring person and you feel that. But you almost feel at this point in time, I feel like the best use of your energy is being still until you get divine inspiration to move. And a metaphor came to my mind. I don't know if I said it already, but it's like you're at a buffet and you make this choice to add stuff to your plate, but then you get down to your table, and then when it's time to decide to eat all that on your plate, you're like, actually, but you're feeling bad because you don't want to go back up to where you just were and like put the food back. You don't want like the chefs to feel any type of way about, and it's like you're freeing yourself from that. For some of y'all, that is like the type of habit. I don't know if that's leakage from the collective message I did earlier, but that is ultimately the message. You know, things will happen in their divine time. Yeah, stay still. If there's no time-bound, like, capitalistic requirement, don't put that on yourself to make a decision in a certain amount of time, especially if you don't have to. All right. Sorry, I also want to quickly read the messages with these cards. So number 14. Stay still until you're divinely moved. Solitude gives birth to the original in us, to beauty unfamiliar in pearlist poetry. That's a quote from Thomas Mann. Mann spelled with 2 N's, okay? Message. When you feel resistance, it might mean you're not up to the task. Then again, it might mean that you are up to the task, but don't realize your own strength. Resistance sometimes serves to preserve your energy and keep you safe. Without resistance, you might manically say yes to everything, perhaps for fear of missing out, but right where you are is holy ground. From a quantum physics perspective, you are already everywhere, and everyone and everything is within you. When you realize this, there can be no fear of missing out because you are already where it's at. Honor the spirit of resistance and know it will be with you through every step of your hero's journey. You've done enough inner work to know the difference between yes and no. It's wise to pause and consider your choices and actions with respect to your available energy, schedule, and resources. Dream symbol, saying no. When you say no in a dream, you are being guided to release good and better to make room for best. Your dream's reward system, your dream reward system lets you know where you are on track or where you have strayed. Courageous choices will be affirmed with pleasurable scenarios, feelings when you are off track. You will find yourself in an unpleasant scenario or shouting no at an adverse energy in your dream. Okay. And then Dream Sanctuary. Nice segue. Okay, the quote with this: at dusk, we encountered an elderly lady and her beagle hiking towards us. Teetering along on a walking stick, she wore a motoring cap and clutched a bunch of wildflowers. I said hello and asked her where she was going. She replied in Welsh, and I cannot read Welsh. We looked to Erica for translation. She said, I'm already there, as far as where she's going. And I feel like that goes to where you are is where it's at. Like, you're everywhere all at once. You're already, like, if someone asks you where you're going, it's like, I'm already here, baby. Message. Your sleep zone is your dream sanctuary, and yet you take it with you wherever you roam. In fact, you are a dream sanctuary. You are a dreamer, and your presence provides a sanctuary for you and everyone who approaches you on the path of life. Your dream zone is the orbit in which you spin, dance, live, and love. Attend to the simple things to ensure harmonious flow in all your relationships, and you will sleep and awaken each day with a smile on your lips. Take inventory of anyone you need to forgive or whom you owe amends to. Identify the attachments and behaviors you'd be better off dropping and release them. Resolve clutter in your bedroom, around your nightstand, at home, and at work. Make room for success, happiness, prosperity, and brilliant ideas to swoop in and embrace your unencumbered. What a lovely word. Dream symbol, bedroom. Your bedroom is the place in a house where the veil between worlds is the thinnest. It represents your ability to connect to both the physical and the metaphysical, to dreams and walking reality. Dreams of your bedroom, often symbolize your most vulnerable, authentic, transparent, sensual self. This dream may be a message to indulge in a much-needed break from the intensity of your hero's journey, so you can re-emerge refreshed, invigorated, energized, awake, and ready to be the hero you came here to be. Mantra: I am safe and free to be energetically and physically naked in my bedroom and beyond. Oh, goodness. I need to hear that. Okay, so nice. Thank you, Pile 1. Please leave a comment on what pile you chose, or maybe if you don't want to disclose that, just that you like this video, any comment of anything. Thank you. Bye. Hello, Pile 2. So if you're watching this, you chose Let It Go, Let It Go. Sorry, I'm gonna skip. It's great when I see this because I know it's real, but shout out to the scuba divers for this cool video. This is Dive Live on YouTube if you're curious. They have real, authentic sea footage. Anyway, you chose Let It Go. We're not gonna look at the rest of these cards until I start sketching and I get curious. Okay, I'm already feeling kind of playful. I'm already kind of feeling a little, yeah, okay. I'm already feeling a little, I don't know what that means. Let it go. You're just like not taking it seriously anymore. And I feel like it's a major change. Because I feel like you were like, you were very intense about this situation that you may have on your mind when you're watching this. And if you don't have a particular situation on your mind, think back to the last time you were like super stuck on something or super like aggravated or just like emotionally intense about something. And then as time passed, you're just like, it's really not that big of a deal. It's actually, I'm sorry, like, I'm an adult. I also feel like this group is learning how to ride the wave of human emotion. I have to blow up my nose. I'm in school for therapy right now, and I know that there's people that have certain bipolar diagnosis. And what I'm about to say is not a diagnosis. And if you do or don't have this diagnosis, you can take this message if it resonates, okay? But what I'm feeling like for you guys is this lightness of energy of realizing like, yo, that's life. And yeah, I may be seen as having like a wave of emotions or going through a lot of different things at one time, but look at what's happening in our society. Like, am I really the crazy one, or am I just responding to society? I feel the need to show y'all this turtle right now. I feel like that's a symbol for some of y'all. Maybe the turtle says something in Finding Nemo that like you need to hear, or you probably already know the line that I don't know. That's for some of y'all. But I'm getting this really like surfer boy cool energy right now. Like, you know, that's life, and you just ride the wave and you just go with it. I feel like this group, I feel like this group, for some of you guys, are moving, are considering moving, are traveling somewhere to figure out if you want to move. Some of you guys may have a family member that is undergoing some type of surgery. That's very random, but I felt the need to say it. I feel like you guys recently got some news about something, or something was clarified for you, either through a conversation, through a omen that, you know, just some type of synchronicity where you're like, yeah, I know what I need to do. But something was recently like fine-tuned for you. Something that you've been pondering on for a while was recently like, I see. And this little fish just popped up out of this little reef. So I feel like you are probably coming out of a time of deep reflection and not really moving. Of like kind of just waiting for that moment to feel like organized action or sustainable action, I'm hearing, which I feel like is trying to communicate a sense of you don't want to be impulsive about whatever it is that you may be thinking about. And if it's not a particular thing you've been thinking about, it's just in general, you're wanting to make decisions that feel a little bit more dynamic in approach. That's so random. I don't even know what that means. Dynamic in approach, as in not just approaching things the way you always approach them, but maybe like a combination of old and new. Because obviously you've gained wisdom from life experiences, and that is what has informed you for where you are now. Ooh, my mic is all the way on the ground. But sometimes when you get comfortable with a certain way of handling things, you don't notice things because it becomes habitual. So it's not really a conscious effort. It's more automatic. And that's great when we have automatic habits for things that are empowering and are in alignment for us. But you'll start to feel some type of dissonance, so to speak, when your vessel and the avatar of who you are in this 3D reality is changing and shifting because of what's changing in the 5D reality in your spirit and its goals and missions that it has, that it wants to do on this planet. What? And there's moments where you're really not clear and you're really like, what am I doing? In like moments of frustration because you're not really clear. But you just ride it. Like you just ride that wave of like, sometimes things are really clear and sometimes they're not. And sometimes I'm absolutely sure And sometimes I'm not. And how boring would life be if we were just always sure? So let it go. I'm trying to think about like what this can pertain to. But I think it's letting go of control, letting go of the past, letting go of things kind of like in our rear view mirror, so to speak, things that for at the time now we are making a choice, or based off other people's choices, we are having to move past that and move on with our lives and not check in the rear view. And if you check in the rear view, do something about it. You know what I mean? Don't just look at the rear view and keep driving straight. Pull over, pull your car over, look in the rear view mirror, check. Like, you're obviously feeling very preoccupied of something that you keep seeing back there. So trust that. But bring it into the present. Don't keep it back there. Don't keep it in your subconscious. Don't keep it suppressed. Don't keep it, because if you keep it suppressed, it's going to leak out in a much more inconvenient way than you're already putting in your brain of how inconvenient it is going to be to pull over and look in the back. Versus, oh no, I'm just going to keep driving straight, looking in my rearview mirror, and then you hit a squirrel because you were not paying attention. Okay, let's look at your cards. Okay, so we have mind over matter. Your thoughts have the power to reshape your reality. Use them wisely. So yeah, I was talking about letting things go, not being stuck in the past. And if your brain keeps bringing you back to this thing, instead of ignoring it and suppressing it, look back and look at it. Because it reshapes your reality. If you keep looking back while you're driving forward, you're going to hit something in the front and that's going to dysregulate you. Versus realizing that your mind is a computer, okay? It's not necessarily sentient without living in a vessel that's giving it oxygen and consciousness, right? It's just a blob, okay? So it's also manufactured to keep us safe. It thrives on habitual things. So if you built a framework of habitual things and programs, it's going to do those programs. It's like getting mad at this PC because it doesn't have GarageBand. Well, it's a PC. So, like, sorry, I have certain programs I can do. And there is a way to get GarageBand on your PC, but you're going to have to finagle some things, okay, outside of the system settings. Anyway, I didn't read the back of Let It Go, so let's do that before we get into these cards. Okay. You're always carrying something. Sometimes it's the idea that we should be a certain way, or a memory of when a close friend let us down, or a view of how everyone around us should behave. While holding views and opinions is not intrinsically bad, each one weighs us down in its own way, limiting what we can do and how we can be. Spend a few minutes reflecting on a particular burden you've been carrying and play with what it might be like to let it go. Then let it go. I'm thinking of this article I read recently of these, I'm going to find any way to bring this up, of these remote viewing experiments that were ran by the CIA. And reading that makes me think of a passage in that article where one of the remote viewers and if you don't know what that is, honestly, check out my Substack. It will be linked in the description. I just did an article about it, and then in that article is a direct link to the actual CIA briefing that you can read. But in that briefing, one of the remote viewers, and if you don't know remote viewing, I explain it in the Substack. Anyway, he said something about how powerful it is to I'm paraphrasing, let his mind wander instead of trying to guess or worry. And I feel like this is pertaining to letting it go and getting out of your mind about it, because I think sometimes if we think about every possible angle and we think about the best way to communicate it and the best way to be intentional with it and the best way to be careful with it, that we're going to avoid the best way to stop being hurt, to never be disappointed. And that is not true. That is just not true. And I'm laughing because I need to hear this message that I'm channeling right now. I think that, and take this if it resonates, I'm taking off the Oracle hat for a second, and this is Rue speaking. I recently have just discovered that, it's been 5 years since I've been single. I'm learning a lot. I'm a different person. And I think I've been trying to show up to my current dating life like the version of myself that I was 5 years ago or pre my last relationship. And that's just not who I am, and it's not in alignment with who I am anymore. However, I'm realizing, wow, like I've gained a lot of communication skills and wisdom and patience and all these different things. And I think because I'm so informed on emotional intelligence and the ego and all these different philosophical principles that I can interchange for my comfort, that was going to stop me from being hurt. Like, oh, if I just don't waste my time or entertain individuals that don't have the attributes that I feel like are in alignment for the kind of people I need to be around. Honest, kind, funny, integrity, authentic, all these qualities, that means that person isn't capable of hurting my feelings or it not working out. Like, that is always going to be a risk. Duh. And so I think this pile is learning that letting things go doesn't mean that you don't care about the person, you don't care about the situation. It really just means that you're letting it go. You are loosening your gnarly fingers from the grip of what that is and trusting it to be what it is. And that if it's meant to be what it is, it's going to be what it is. You don't even have to hold it. It will just be. It will just be. Like, trusting you being yourself is the holding container of it. You don't need to think about it so hard. Just be. Okay? Anyway. You got 10,000 angels. Number 17. Lean on your circle of supernatural support. Some of y'all have been getting crazy omens, crazy synchronicities, crazy signs, and little inside jokes between you and God, between you and your passed on loved ones. Become the elixir. Number 50. Let your glow do the heavy lifting. Let's read the back of those cards. But I really just want to say that this pile, and I think it's funny how this kind of looks like a brain. I think that this pile is learning to take charge of their attention, learning to let their mind be the assistant and their consciousness and their spirit be the director, be the master, and not the other way around. Some of you guys have been getting signs from passed on loved ones, or just your own special relationship with you and your higher self, with you and God. Whatever title resonates with how you relate to your spiritual side and dwindlings of the non-physical world. But yeah, I feel like you'll be thinking something or saying something or doing something, and something will happen, like a car beep, a car horn, or this beautiful little fish. They're so cute. Like, just the timing of things. Yeah. Okay, let's read. Number 17. 10,000 angels. The quote: when angels visit us, we do not hear the rustle of wings, nor feel the feathery touch of the breast of a dove, but we know their presence by the love they create in our hearts. A quote by Mary Baker Eddy. E-D-D-Y, right? Message: you have a circle of supernatural support, spirit guides, and angelic beings around you always. You have at least 10,000 angels on hand at all time, above, beneath, and on either side of you. When you become aware of them, their support and strength can be experienced more palpably within you, and you become truly empowered. Take a moment to scan over your life and realize you have never been alone. Allow yourself to feel uplifted as you ride on the wings of their vision for you. Discover the loving guidance that is always present. Honor your guides and angels by receiving and acting on their gift of wisdom. Now, for some of you, angels may not resonate. For some of y'all, what I'm feeling is more of this intrinsic knowledge of all the bloodlines that came before you. And it doesn't have to be super spiritual where you have like an altar for your ancestors and stuff like that. It's just knowing that, thinking about how, like, tens of thousands of people had to get together, have sex, carry a baby for 9 months, not die, and do that a bunch of times for you to end up where you are in your bloodline right at this moment. And there is so much knowledge and so much wisdom, not just inherited trauma, but inherited magic and wisdom. Okay? Dream symbols, departed loved one. When you dream of a departed loved one, you are connecting with their immortal spirit, the qualities they represent to you, and perhaps receiving a message of love and wisdom to assist you on your quest. You are directly experiencing the awareness that life is eternal. Life is eternal. And loving bonds are not severed when someone shuffles off this mortal coil. The love and healing power from this type of dream cannot be overestimated. Take heed of any messages you receive. Consider your relationship with the qualities your dream visitor represents to you. Oh my God, I just got so touched. I feel like someone had a very powerful moment, dream, a visit from a loved one. And I feel like this was a feminine figure. And if it's not like that gender, it's like this figure was very nurturing to you. I'm cradled in a supernatural web of light and miracles that propel me along my way. Okay, let's read number 50. I also feel like some of y'all are trying to figure out a way to make some more money. This is kind of very particular, so take it if it resonates. And you're realizing, oh, I just need to be myself. Like, it's something to do with you just being yourself. It's something to do with you just being you and documenting that. For some of you guys want to start a garden and documenting your process of growing your own food. That's very random. Anyway, become the elixir. Let your glow do the heavy lifting. Number 50. Let's read it. Close out your reading. Okay, the wonderful elixir of light is the thing that actually connects the immaterial with the material, that connects the cosmic to the plain everyday existence that we try to live in. A quote by James Turrell, Turrell, and James is spelled the classic way. Message. You have life-altering experiences, learned libraries worth of knowledge, and are now incalculably, oh my God, incalculably wealthy. I think I got it. Spiritually and otherwise. It probably feels selfish to keep all this life-affirming wisdom to yourself. If you could, through osmosis, you would transmit the contents of your journey, every experience, trial, and reward to every person you meet. And yet, if you share when uninvited, your gifts will fall upon deaf ears. Honor the wisdom you've earned and learned while honoring the people in your circle of life. By remembering that you are the elixir, without having to say a word or do a single thing, you are the medicine, blessing and presence that soothes the hearts, minds, and souls of all you meet. You are so steeped in the elixir that you do the work simply by beaming, and showing up. Dream symbol. Dreams of medicine denote a transformation is underway. You can't heal what you can't feel. The place where there has been pain is now getting the attention, light, and awareness required to restore balance and elevate the womb into sacred wisdom. This is not only a gift for you, but one to be shared with the world. And this is not only your wound. Like I was saying before with the epigenetics, think about all the tens of thousands of people. I don't really know the math, but I know it's over 500 people that had to get together and have a baby and not die in order for you to be this number baby in your family tree. You know what I mean? And there are lessons and pains and things that we feel through our veins. And I didn't mean to rhyme, but sometimes it happens. But there are things that we're experiencing in your bloodline that you are transmuting in this lifetime. And sometimes you feel like you're being dramatic and you're not. Like, yes, your life is probably way less stressful than your elders and your family and before that. But you came into this world with a mess that wasn't just yours. And so did your parents. And so did their parents. And each time, each generation, something is learned, something is let go of, something is leveled up. So don't be so hard on yourself because you're carrying stuff that's not just yours. Yours as in you from this life. Excuse me, confirmation burp. That is your reading. That is your sketch. I really hope you guys enjoyed this. Please comment below if it resonated, what pile you chose, any suggestions for future videos. I really enjoy doing these when my phone doesn't run out of storage. So thank you, and I'll see you guys around.